Hello there and welcome back to Steam with Steve. Today we're going to go into our coding back practice. So what we're going to do is go to codingbackpython.com and we're just going to punch out every single warm-up one. Okay, so you're going to see me basically do this all in one go and hopefully you'll see something along the way. Cool, so let's begin. So here's codingback.com. I'll just zoom in a bit so you can see a bit clearer and we'll go warm-up one. I'm going to start from the very beginning and just work our way through all of them. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 across, so we've got 12 little activities we're going to punch out now. So we're going to go sleeping in. So the parameter weekday is true if it is a weekday, and the parameter vacation is true if we are on vacation. We sleep in if it's not a weekday or we're on a vacation. So return true if we sleep in. So the parameter weekday is true if it is a weekday, and the parameter vacation is true if we're on vacation. We sleep in if it's not a weekday or we're on vacation. So literally we're going to return, and if it's weekday or if it's not weekday. So if it's not weekday, so see how it's pretty much like English, or vacation is true. All right, and let's run that and see what happens. Easy. Cool. So literally, instead of writing an if statement, better way of coding practice is to try to do it all in one statement. Let's see how they did their solution. Okay, so they've gone through and broken it down. So they've gone if not weekday or true, vacation, return true, else return false. But do you see it's a lot easier if we just go return, and because this is going to be true or false, isn't it? Okay, which can be shortened down to that. Excellent, done, first one. Let's go to the next one. Monkey trouble. We have two monkeys, A and B, and the parameters A smile and B smile indicates if each is smiling. We are in trouble if both are smiling or if neither of them is smiling. Return true if we're in trouble. Cool. So that's pretty much XOR if you think about it. Okay. So let's think about this. So I'm going to actually do this as an if statement because it helps with my brain when I'm thinking it through. If A smile, so if A smile is true and B smile is true, snaky bite, we then return true. So if they're both smiling, that's bad news. So we're in trouble. We're then going to do elif, and then we go not A smile and not B smile. So if they're both not smiling, that's a bad thing. We're in trouble. So return true. Else, with snaky bite, return false. Cool. So let's see what happens when we run that guy. Oh, got my Python 101, capital T's and capital F. Here we go. Cool. So let's have a look at what they did for their solution. So they went if, yep, so they pretty much, okay, so they did separate if statements. Doesn't really matter, that could work. And then they just did the return false. The other way that you can do, you could shorten it as one big huge line. So you could go return A smile and B smile, or not A smile and not B smile, all in one go. Okay, it doesn't really matter, both will work. Next one, sum double. Given two int values, return their sum unless the two values are the same, then return double their sum. So if they're the same, return double their sum, otherwise just return their sum. So if we want to check if A is equal, so we do double equals to B, we're going to return two lots of A plus B. Yeah, or we could actually, if you want to be really nerdy, A would be the same, so it'd actually be four lots of A, but that's okay. Else, snaky bite, we're going to return A plus B. Let's see how that one goes. Cool, even got a gold star. Epic. Next one. Diff 21. Given an integer n, return the absolute difference between n and 21, except return double the absolute difference if n is over 21. Ooh, this is going to be gnarly. So return an integer n returns the absolute difference between n and 21, except return double the absolute difference if n is over 21. So if n is greater than 21, snaky bite, we then want to return double the difference. So we then want to return 2 lots of n minus 21. Yeah. Else, we want to return just n minus 21. Let's see how that one goes. Line 4, snaky bite. So else. Okay, so we got a few little troubles here. So when we did 19, it gave us 2. Should be the difference. Oh, so they should be absolute values. It should not worry about positives and negatives. So that was below. So let's do 21 minus n. Cool. So did you see how I didn't freak out when the things went wrong? So the whole point of that is sometimes you might not get it exactly right, but the output never lies. So this is the expected values, and I thought about how do I make it so that the run value looks the same. Epic. We'll go to the next one. Parrot trouble. We have a talking parrot. The hour parameter is the current time in a range from 0 to 23. We are in trouble if the parrot is talking and the hour is before 7 or after 20. Okay. Return true if we're in trouble. So the parrot's talking and the hour's before 7 and 20, we're in trouble. Otherwise, we're false. So it's before and after. So if we just check this, 7 means we're all good. So if we go from 7 to 20, we're sweet. So well, let's do a bit of something a bit different. So if it's the hour is in range from 7 to 20. Yeah, so if the hour is within that range, snaky bite, return false, else return true. Oops, we got my capitals. Let's see what happens with that. Cool, not bad. So what's happened here? So it's false. Oh, so if it's not talking as well, so we need to do yeah, so we need to check if it's talking as well. So if it's talking and it's in that, if it's outside that range, oh, that's going to be a bit trickier. Let's do if it's not in that hour range. Yeah, so if it's not within that range and it's talking, then it's true. Otherwise, it's false. Let's see what happens there. Cool. So we got one bad thing here. Oh, 21. Right. Sorry. When we do range, we do 21 because it doesn't include that. So if we go that one, bam, all good. Cool. And let's see what they did for their solution. Oh, that's neat. That's a whole heap better way. So they've gone return if the talking and the hour's less than 7 or the hour's greater than 20. That's actually a way better way of doing it. Okay, so my way works, but let's do it their way. So we're going to go return and we're going to do talking, which means that the thing's talking and the hour is less than 7. Yeah, so that means it's in the wee hours in the morning, or the hour is greater than 20. Close that bracket, and we need to put a bracket around that. So the reason we need to put brackets around it is so that it executes that hour bit first, because and has more precedence. It's like multiplying compared to adding. So it would try and do the and first with the talking in hours less than 7, but we actually want to check if that's true there first. So we run that. That's a really cool way of doing that. Okay, mistakes makes 10. So given two integers, a and b, return true if one of them is 10, or if their sum is 10. Cool. So we're going to go value equals a plus b. So that's going to store the value. So return true if one of them is 10 or if the sum is 10. So let's do this all in one go. So let's literally go return. And we're going to return if a is equal to 10 or if b equals to 10 or if value equals to 10. And we'll go that. Cool. Okay, well, they didn't even bother doing a value, so they just went a plus b. But sometimes that helps just to get my head in the game. That's fine. Given an integer n, return true if it is within 10 or 100 or 200. Note abs num computes the absolute value of a number. So this gets rid of the positives and negatives. So given an integer, return true if it's within 10 of 100 or 200. So we'll go check 1 equals abs. And then we'll go 100 minus n. Yeah. So then that's going to check whether or not that's within. That will either return a value that's above or below. And then we're going to be able to check if that's within. Then we're going to go check 2 is abs 200. Take away n. So then that will give us some values whether or not it's close. So now it's true if it's within those. So we want to go, let's go return because we're dealing with integers. If check 1 is in range 11. So if it's between 0 up to 10, that's what that will do. Or check 2 in range 11. See how that one goes. Yeah, sick. So all we've done there is we've literally taken away 100 away from the number. So if we go through and go this one, so we go 93, 100 take away 93, that works. So that would leave us with 7. Right, and then the absolute value of that is still positive because it's not on the other side, so that would be true. If we find something that's above it, so 110, so we would do 110, so 100 minus 110 would leave us with negative 10, but then the absolute value of that will swap it around and become 10. Okay, so let's see what their solution looks like. That's pretty cool. So they've gone, okay, so they could, yep, that's fine. You could also do it that way. So I've done it like this. I've done abs 100 take away n to give the variable, and then abs 200, which is that bit there. So I've just sort of broken it up just to get my head around it. Either way works. Doesn't really matter. You could also, instead of using the range, you could just literally use the mathematical function. So you could go down here and change that to less than or equal to 10. And then you could do the same over here. So then you could go less than equal to 10. Both would still work. Okay. Hopefully that's making pretty much sense. Shouldn't be that tricky what we're up to now. So we're up to near 100. So how many do we have left? We're getting pretty close. All right. So near 100. We've done that one. We'll go across. And we're up to what? Here. Posneg. Okay, so we've got 5 to go. So given 2 integers, return true if one is negative and one is positive, except if the parameter negative is true, then return true if both are positive. Wow, okay. Here we go. So we're going to be checking if it's less than 0. So let's think this through. If it's negative is true, and a is less than 0, and b is less than 0. So do you see how that's sort of the unique case? we're going to return true. Right, and we can test this as we go. So if we go, cool. So they're both negative. It was true. That's okay. So we're going to return true if one of them is negative and one is positive, except if the parameter negative is true. So we've done that. So now we go else, elif, not negative. Yep, so we've checked that first. And then we've got two ways that we can be true. Either A is negative and B is positive, or the other way around. So A is positive and B is negative. So elif, if A is less than 0 and B is greater than or greater than 0, we return true. Else, oh, it's going to be else if, because it's going to be conditional. Elif A is greater than 0 and B is less than 0, return true. Else is everything else, we return false. Actually, we don't even need to put it there. So it will return true there, and then as backup out of our function, we can just literally go return false. So it's either going to return true there when that happens. It's either going to return true there when that happens after it's filtered it through. It's going to return true there. And then if nothing, if it gets down to this bit of code, it's going to return false. So let's see what happens there. Line 4. Oh, LF, not negative. Snaky bite. Always forget the snaky bite. Cool. Excellent. So then we'll go to the next one. Whoa. Not string. Given a string, return the new string where not has been added to the front. However, the string already begins with a not. Return the string unchanged. Oh, how cool is that? So, given a string, return a string where not has been added to the front. However, if the string already begins with not, return the string unchanged. So, we want to check if the front of the string equals that. So, if str, and we go from 0 to the third character, second character, so that was 0, 1, and 2, because when we go from 0 to 3, it doesn't include where we cut it. If that equals not, or lowercase, we just return the string. Yeah? Otherwise, else, we return, and then we put not on the front. So we go not plus str. Line 2. What have I done wrong? Double equals, sorry. Getting a bit tired here. Cool, and then we forgot the space. Done. Easy. So that's checked to see if the first characters say not. If it does, it just returns the string. Otherwise, it jams not on the front of it. So they did this. Okay, so they made it a little bit trickier. So they went if length of str is greater than 3 and str is not equal to not, return str, return not, and the string as the other option. So that's a bit of an error handling. So if it doesn't, if the strings is less than 3 characters, that will not allow it to do it. Okay. I just assumed it was going to be bigger than that. So you probably their solution's a bit better because it has that error checking built into it. Next one, missing char. So this is going to check to see a non-empty string and an integer n. Return a new string where the char at index n has been removed. The value of n will be the valid index of the char in the original string, i.e. n will be the range 0 to the length of the string minus 1 inclusive. So kitten and then 1 got rid of the I. Kitten and 0 got rid of the O, the K at the front. Kitten and 4 got rid of the E. So given a non-empty string, return a new character where the character index n has been removed. Value of n will be the valid index of the char. Okay, cool. So we need to return a new string. So we're going to return, and then we're going to go str, and we're going to start from the beginning as well. So we're going to go from normal, and we want it to go up to where n is. Now, if we put 0 in, when we go 0 to 0, that should chop off the front, or might not. Let's just actually see what happens there, because it's probably going to run it. So 0, yeah, cool. 0 chopped it all off, so it didn't even return the front. We then want to then add on the string. So then we want to go from plus, not that character. So we want to do the character after it. So if we do n plus 1, right? And then if we just put a snaky bite, that means go on for the rest of the string. No, I didn't like that. Oh, sorry, str. Need to put that on the front. So run go. Cool. So the bit of code there basically started it cuts it from 0 to however far along the many characters, which what the second parameter was. And then with this bit, str n plus 1 basically goes from the character afterwards. So it doesn't include that fourth one. So we didn't do the plus 1, it would just return whatever the word was. Right, so see how kitten still gave us kitten. So by doing n plus 1, that shifts the list or the string representation across. That should be pretty easy. So that's missing char, done and dusted. Front back. So given a string, return a string where the first and last characters have been changed over. Cool. This is pretty easy. So we're going to go return. And we're going to go str at -1. So that then literally put whatever's the last character at the front. Plus str starting from 1. So we've gone 1 across to -1. So then that should cut off the tail, and then plus str at 0 or at the beginning. Didn't like that one. Oh, sorry. 1 to 1. No? I don't know, can we do this? str -1. Let's see how that goes. String out of range. I see. If the length yeah, this is where it gets a little bit tricky. So if the length of str equals 1, we just return the string because it's just going to be what it originally was. If the length of str equals 2, we return str at 0, sorry, at -1, so at the, or 2, we can just do 1 plus str at 0. Else we just return my little code there. Let's see what happens. Nope, still didn't want to work. What have I done? Let's see what happens when I do that. Huh. Okay. So that worked for the first one. Let's go return str. And we want to do the end of it. Let's see if that works. No. Index out of range. That's puzzling. Let's just go str and see what happens. Let's try 0. Maybe they've done empty string. Let's just see if they've done that to us. Yeah, they've done empty string. Okay, let's put that as a case. So if str equals the empty string, we're just going to return empty string. We'll return str. No, doesn't like that. Why can't we just return the string? Oh, you're annoying. Okay. Why will you do this to me? And this is fine. Let's think this through. So str length, let's go less than or equal to 1. Turn str. That's cool. That's cool. Let's see what happens if I just return that individual character at 2. Okay. So let's go -1. Oh, I put snaky bytes in, that's what I did. Sorry, my bad. Plus str, and then we're going to go from 1 to -1. Close the brackets, plus str at 0. Cool. I'm just for the lols. We get rid of that. Let's see what happens. Yeah, it doesn't work because it goes out of the range. So what this does is it checks. So if it's less than or equal to 1, it just returns the string because it will be either nothing or have 1 character. If it's got 2 characters, it just swaps them around. And then if it's larger than that, it will fill in the gaps for all of them. So there we go. So let's have a look at the solution they did. So if length is less than or equal to 1, return the string. Oh, cool. That's a bit easier way of doing it. So they've just done the mid. So length the string -1. And then they've returned the beginning plus the mid. I'm sorry, the end plus the mid plus that, which is what that line of code there does. Cool. All right, let's have a go. Next one. And also that's I'm purposely showing you that it's okay to fail. I've been coding for 20 years. Still fine, right? Still got there in the end. And that's the trick that you need to learn, is to be resilient and looking at what the problem is and how can you get the inputs to match the outputs. Given a string, we'll say that the front is the first 3 characters of the string. If the string length is less than 3, the front is whatever is there. Return a new string, which is 3 copies of the front. So the front 3, Java, Jav, chocolate, cho, ABC, ab, because that's the first 3. I'm going to cheat. So we're just going to go return, well, not cheat, I'm going to use my knowledge of Python. So I'm going to go string, and I'm going to go from 0 to 3. So that's going to give me the first 3 characters, and then I'll just go times 3. And that should do the first 3 characters. Cool. Awesome. So they did it a little bit different. So they went the front 3 equals 3. If length of the string is less than the front end is equal length of the string. Front equals str. Front end, return the front plus the front plus the front. Could omit the logic and simply write front like that. Up to you how you want to do it. Because it says that there is going to be first 3 characters and all these worked, I'm happy to go with that. Cool. So that's pretty much the first lot of Coding Bat done and dusted. And I think I've done that in 30 minutes. All right. Biggest trick, the more you practice this, the better you get. Okay, so what I would be personally doing is pausing the video, having a go, see how you go with, before I go off and have my little crack. And yeah, see if you can beat me. Awesome. Thanks again. See you next time on Steam with Steve. If you've liked the video, please give us a like and subscribe down below, because that helps with our YouTube algorithm. And yeah, see you next time. Adios.